Stay in the work. This was my mantra this morning when working out. Had a really awesome workout, and sometimes it's hard to just stay centered and focused and remember why you're doing this thing. It really is not an accident that is also the way I feel about birth a lot of the time. How do we stay in the work? So we posted a podcast yesterday called The Honest Truth About Freebirth. So check that out in our bio if you haven't listened, and take a look at the thread of comments yesterday, as well as all the comments left on the actual blog podcast post. Lots of awesome feedback and lots of more negative and triggered feedback. So I want to talk a little bit about that because this happens all of the time. It happens all of the time amongst women. It happens specifically around these really intimate emotional topics like birth and mothering. And it's a thing on social media, to just take what someone has said or offered and really twist it around to suit your own needs. So, negative feedback is awesome as well. And anything that's sort of personal and mean, we don't engage with. We don't feel like that's really from a place of growth and isn't ultimately helpful. So reasons why people loved it, you'll have to read the comments and see what you think. I'm not going to go into all of that here, but we appreciate the really positive feedback and are so glad that it resonated so much with so many people. On the negative side, people are free to not enjoy it and not agree and not resonate. And that alone is valid just on its own. The negative triggered responses that come up for women around these topics, though, I did want to address because I thought that, those are the conversations we aren't having. Like, we're having the why I hate this, but we're not really digging deeper into what makes this come up, for all of us, really. Some of us, display it more publicly than others. But I was thinking of two chief reasons why this becomes what it does sometimes. The first is that our culture really teaches people, especially women, that our choices and our beliefs need to be validated by someone. I guess I could stop with that one. Your choices, whatever they are, don't need to be approved. They don't need to be proven to anyone. And you don't need to defend them. So when we wind up in a place of feeling like we need to defend ourselves, I think there's something deeper there. It's usually an issue of self-worth and this feeling that is so prevalent amongst women in our society, which is we're not enough, and we all have that, and it all, it comes out in different ways. So this is one way, is when you don't agree with something, you become really victimized and you're really hurt. You really honestly feel like this must be about you, but it's because you're looking for validation with your own choices when they don't match up, right, with whatever you don't agree with. I don't need to be validated. You don't need to be validated. In fact, that's going to be really hard to come by in, a world where everyone has their opinion and this need to be right and this need to always be on top and making a superior choice. There is no superior choice. The only choice ever to be made is the one that comes from within. So, it's an oxymoron. You can't make a choice from within, most likely. You can, but then you're probably not looking for it to be validated. So I know that's bold, but I like being bold, as people can tell. And this podcast was a great example of me just speaking my truth. I don't need people to like it. I don't need people to agree with it, but people that are feeling really triggered by it might kind of take a step back and see what that's all about. Because it's certainly not about what I believe. What on earth would that matter to you, really? The second point, I think, is a lot like the first point, which is when we hear something we don't like, especially in birth around choices, or maybe it's a story or we feel like someone's criticizing our choice when they're speaking, on a broader scale, especially, and it becomes all about us. We are the victims, we are marginalized, we are less than. Where does this come from? And it's ironic because it's actually like an egomaniac state to make everything about you. And we all do it, we all do it at different points in time, maybe not even around birth, but like in different relationships or maybe with our kids sometimes, it's really easy to take on that victim standpoint and poor you, and everybody doesn't like you, and you've done it wrong, and how dare she speak this way about me. It's not about you. It's never about you. Anybody read the 4 agreements? Don't take anything personally. Don't take anything personally. It's worth saying again. So just encouraging people and myself, to do the same. I remind myself of these things every single day as well. Another one of my sayings is people will love you, people will hate you, and life goes on. That's really what it comes back to, especially when you're speaking your truth. You absolutely won't get the favor of everyone. And, conversely, plenty of people will think you're great, right? So what does it all matter? It doesn't matter because, again, we don't need to be validated by someone. And secondly, it's not really about us. People are free to speak their mind, speak their own truth, and it's not a commentary on our own choices. I realize that this is not popular belief, and it's something that is so widespread in women and birth and mothering. People, voice their choice, for example, and it's somehow a commentary on other people's choice. So that's crazy. That's crazy egotistical. It's not about you. Your choices aren't about me, and I get that. So just sharing that this morning, because I think it's needed to be said and shared. And those are the conversations I want to be having. How can we all improve where we're at internally? What do you do to get to that voice that speaks clearly within you? How do you react? How do you respond when you feel like people don't agree or, they want to create arguments with you? Like, are you somebody that wants to engage and prove your point or not? We're all so different. And so there's a space for all of it, aside from, I think, meanness and, kind of low insulting of people. Like, that's childish. Not up for that. So cool discussions welcome. And hope you have a great day. And goodbye from rainy Sedona.